What is popping, guys? The season's over. All good things come to an end. It is what it is. But 2018. Combine's around the corner. Before you know it's a draft. Before you know it, everybody's talking about, fantasy. And then, season starts all over again. It's a circle of life. But until then, we got Fury for all your football needs. You need your fix. You need your fix. So now, welcome to the postseasons. Back again, we got Tim, Josh. We might see Fog later on today. Before we start, just letting you guys know, if you do want to chime in, our number is 718-313-5155. 718-313-5155. The line is open. Dial in if you got something to say with your chest. That being said, Tim, Josh, what it do?
What is up?
What's up?
Just
season's over.
The week is kind of just dragging,
It is. We got 29 more Sundays until the season starts again, I believe. Who's counting? 29 more Sundays. Wow.
Is that what
it's
yeah.
Listen, you know what it is? I'm happy that it's over because we had to witness a team that we both hate, all right, Josh, win the Super Bowl. It was disgusting. And now we get to hurry up and talk about upcoming surprises with team releasing some players. We'll be talking about a guy who I'm wearing his jersey today, him being released. There's gonna be a lot of movement. We've seen so far guys like Kirk Cousins being franchised possibly after the Redskins already traded for Alex Smith. So hey, listen, a lot of new coaches, new places, new faces. It's gonna be interesting. Hopefully it speeds up into the draft and into the season. But let's start off with the 49ers. Rueben Foster, Alabama. His second arrest, Josh. His second arrest. I mean, my God, listen, I'm a Cowboys fan, and he's already breaking the records already. A second arrest? In what? In the same year?
This is kind of bad. Violence? This is pretty bad, Tim. If I'm a 49ers fan, personally, I'm kind of looking at this as like a damn, we don't need to go down the same road. I'm kind of looking at like Aldon Smith. This is a new regime. John Lynch, he kind of wants to restore, that good 49ers prestige, what they had going. They were known as a reputable, all-around great team, and that's what they want to get back to. And now, we got this guy who's coming up looking like another Aldon, and that's what's scary. You got these red flags. This is why exactly this guy was a top 10 talent in the draft, and he fell all the way down to the bottom. These red flags exactly, and this is kind of scary. So I know they're going to kind of sit and let the due process play out, which they should. Absolutely. He deserves that. We got to let the facts play out, but it doesn't look good, and it doesn't sound good, especially when he's had the history that he's had. This is going to be tough for the 49ers because of his draft pick status, where he was selected. It's going to be hard to just straight up release him, and he does have a lot of talent. This makes it really tough. But if it really does come down to it, and fact is that he actually did do this to his girlfriend, I really don't know how you justify as a front office or a manager of the 49ers keeping that type of player around in your regime. It's kind of scary to think about, if he is doing that. And you can't have that in your organization. So as a 49er fan, if that really happened, I want him off the team. We're trying to go in the right direction. We got Jimmy G signed on board. Let's make this a good team around him. Let's give him a good environment to play around, not somebody that's, at home allegedly hitting their girl or dragging them across the room and all this, and got rifles at home. Almost, it sounds like a Greg Hardy episode, and we know how long that lasted, Tim. We were talking about Greg Hardy probably on like 8 to 10 episodes of Fury, just because that's how much of an issue it really was. week after week. Everyone was just talking about it. So trying to take off my, my blue shield here. I'm just looking out for the 49ers. This would be scary. I'm someone who wanted Rueben Foster just because our linebacker corps in New York has been kind of shameful. It's been kind of lackluster, and he would have added an immediate boost with his play style and his engine. But this is scary shit, and I'm getting far away from this as I can. You know what it does to an organization when you got the DV issues on the team. So it's nothing you really want to be a part of. You don't want to discuss it as a fan. You don't want to be like having to defend a player for his issues that shouldn't be an issue because he's supposed to be a role model. He's supposed to be a grown adult. He's supposed to know right from wrong. He's supposed to be, setting himself up for life with all this money that he's getting at such a young age. And it's such we sit here as, our normal, as they want to call us, our normal jobs, our little 9-to-5ers. And we're just sitting here like, dude, how can you do this? You have everything in front of you. WTF is wrong with you? Seriously, it's scary, Tim. I don't know. If I'm John Lynch, I think I personally just say, John, Kyle, take the L, chalk it up as a loss. It's hard to do, but gut it and move on and redraft your draft status. Get your priorities reorganized if you're getting Ruben off your team.
You know what? And I agree with everything you said because, you don't know what you're going to get when you draft a player. Remember, you're doing an interview. They're going to do their best to say all the right things. So, you really don't know. But the only thing that I questioned Rueben Foster on was last year during the NFL Combines was when he was so impatient, I believe in the medical part, that he caught an attitude with the doctors and he stormed off. And that right there was something that a lot of scouts was talking about, like his patience. And don't get me wrong, I did too wanted the Dallas Cowboys to draft Rueben Foster because we all felt that he was a top 10 pick. I believe our draft gurus and Dulla and Fogmeg, they both agree he was a top 10 pick, but he was in a slip because I believe it was the injury and his attitude. But when you're a team like the 49ers who was rebuilding, you're gonna take whatever the best player is to start your franchise. Now, what do you do? Now, a team that's pretty much set like your New York Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, or the New England Patriots, especially the Patriots and the Cowboys, where their GMs can't be fired because first of all, Jerry Jones is the owner. Second of all, Kraft would never fire Belichick. Belichick would have to walk out of his own. So those are the guys who could take a chance on a guy like Rueben Foster. And if it goes wrong, okay, well, it went wrong. It won't be a GM that, oh, my bad. And, basically you wasted money on this, you're fired. You understand? So, it will definitely be a team that's set. Now, as we approach the free agency starting, I believe, March 14th, you have some guys out here that the 49ers could really sign and some young talent at the inside linebacker position. You remember Navarro Bowman came from there. He'll be available in free agency. Mason Foster, all right, from the Redskins. Avery Williamson from the Titans.
There's a big one out there too. After 13 years with one team, Derek Johnson.
DeMario Davis. Derek Johnson. Listen, leadership. Todd Davis from the Broncos. Anthony Hitchens from the Dallas Cowboys. So
yeah.
All is not lost. It just now you gotta now go a little bit backwards. Now, does it change the draft position? Yes. We're sorry that Dulla's not here with us or Fogman, but Josh, me and you, we're pretty much familiar with what's come up with the draft coming up. There's a linebacker coming out of Georgia named Roquan Smith who could be around with the ninth
sideline beat.
There you go. So, I don't know what the 49ers' plans was originally, but you have a guy, middle linebacker, who could definitely replace Rueben Foster if they need to. And that would be the move that I would definitely do. Or, listen, you sign one of these young linebackers out in free agency, and you go with your regular draft plans. But I believe Rueben Foster can be replaced. He was in and out with injuries. Just like you said, now it's a wrap. And listen, Alabama players, You know, we had a discussion about the other day on the war, 2MW war. Alabama players stay getting in trouble. You know, Rolando McClain, look at him. Same thing. You know, it's for some reason, it's so hard to touch one of them. But, you know, let's see what the 49ers do going forward. That's going to be very interesting.
Yep, certainly will.
I trust, and I like John Lynch too. I really do like John Lynch, and I like Shanahan. I think they're doing a very good job with the 49ers. Put that out there. You know, but we're going to see. Next topic. Fogman, if you're watching, we don't care. We're going to say whatever we want to say because you're not here, Fogman. The Eagles lost their quarterback coach, Frank Reich, to the Colts. And they lost the offensive coordinator to the Colts. They lost their quarterback coach to the Minnesota Vikings. Gosh, are the Eagles quarterbacks in trouble going forward?
It's going to be interesting too because it really does. As I've used an example out of them for probably the last year. The Atlanta Falcons, once they lost Kyle Shanahan, it makes an impact. It really does. So we're gonna see. But I gotta admit, I hate to say it because it's a freaking division rival, but I got a crush on Carson Wentz. I really think he is one of the better up-and-coming quarterbacks, and I think he is going to be top 5 statistically coming up again if he can remain healthy for the majority or all season. And looking at Carson, it looks like he pretty much has a lot of the feel of the game down already. It just comes naturally to him. The pocket awareness, the way he can evade tackles. It's almost like he's got eyes in the back of his head. He's got a great arm, great release time, amazing accuracy downfield. Escapability's there, like I said. So, really whoever's going to come in is really just going to kind of game manage Carson. There's really, keep him on his fundamentals that he's doing. I really don't know because, personally, what I'm more interested in seeing is what they do with Nick Foles because I think he's going to end up being a huge trade bait for them because he still's got another year on that contract. But Carson, I think he's going to be fine, but it really does matter, not the QB coach, but the offensive coordinator. That's what it really hampers on. And if it's going to be an offensive coordinator that Doug Peterson is inheriting or he's going to have a say in, bringing on board, then I'm damn well sure that it's going to be someone that's already within the philosophy of Doug Peterson or he's on board with what he wants to instill in that offense. So I would imagine they're going to be pretty okay with what they got going still. But continuity is a huge thing in the NFL. We see how that can really affect even some of the great ones when you have just some management change on your offense or management change on the sidelines coaching you, whether it's a player on your right there on the gridiron with you or the guy coaching. So we're about to see how it pans out. But in my opinion, I think the Eagles are going to be fine. But it will be interesting to see who comes in and steps in for the OC. Will they be as high scoring offense? That can be determined too. That's going to be hard because I do think some of the defenses in the NFC East are coming up and getting better. The Giants were abysmal last season, but personally, not trying not to be biased, but I really do think they have the personnel in place to be a good defensive team. We'll see how the new DC does, though. Like I said, continuity is a huge thing. So it's really going to be an interesting year for the Eagles. I really think they might be the favorites again because they're not going to have a lot of personnel changes both sides of the ball. But interesting, Tim. Yeah.
See, I agree with you with the Shanahan thing. We said that. 2MW, we was the first one to say that. Not ESPN, not Fox Sports. The minute it happened, that next minute we said the Falcons' offense would never be the same. Now, I'm going to say this because I know Fogman, the famous Eagles fan, is watching or listening to us. And I'm going to tell you, Fogman flip-flops things. 1 minute is one thing, next minute he changes up. Now, last season, Philadelphia Eagles' favorite son, Stephen Fogman, the objectively biased one, he did say that Doug Peterson cannot coach. He said Doug Peterson is horrible with play calls. There was even some things about that Doug Peterson is not a good X and O guy this first year with the Eagles. So I'm like, well, damn, if he had a problem, well, who was helping him out? Oh, Frank Reich. Wait a minute. Is this the same Frank Reich that Doug Peterson said, hey, you cannot interview him for a job? Frank Reich was a star coach coming up, and Doug Peterson declined any team to interview Frank Reich. So with that being said, that's how important he was to the Eagles. So then when there was rumors that the Colts was going to interview Frank Reich, there's an up-and-coming quarterback coach star in Felipe. Apologize, right? But he was the next guy to replace Frank Reich, who is now with the Minnesota Vikings. So now who's the offensive coordinator? Is the second assistant to the quarterback coach. So basically, he had two assistants. One of them got promoted. Well, I'll be damned. Now, you see, Fogbeg, somebody to say, oh, well, the Eagles are okay. They'll be fine. See, it's easy to say they're going to be fine, but how are they going to be fine when you basically came out and said Doug Peterson cannot coach, he cannot call plays last year? So when you say, well, look what happened this year, well, Frank Reich was standing next to him, and also Filippo or Falafel, pardon me about his name, was standing right there beside him. So, Josh, it's a problem. And now, when we say the Eagles are not going to have any moving pieces, see, here's the thing. But I was telling our very own, our boss, Miss Tricia, last week, the Eagles did a great job, of course. They went on to the Super Bowl. The Giants are a playoff team who suffered a lot of injuries, a lot of personnel changes. Okay, Dallas Cowboys, the same thing. The Redskins, the same thing. So every season, you cannot just stand still. Like Rockies, like Philadelphia Rocky, my favorite guy, you got to keep moving forward. Well, how are you going to move forward with the same squad? You got to get better. The Philadelphia Eagles, Josh, are $9 million over the cap. Over the cap, $9 million over the cap. So that means you got clear cap space. Wait, well, that means the guy up top who's making all the money, you got to find a way to let them go. Well, you know what, Josh? I got a list of guys who may have to go. Remember, you did say they got pieces to keep. They're gonna stand still. Not really. Brandon Graham last year of his deal, he gets released. You save about $7 million. Vinny Curry making $11 million. You got to trade him. If you cut him, counts against the cap. Now those are two very good defensive end pieces, especially Vinny Curry, according to Pro Football Focus, led that line in quarterback pressure. But Fletcher Cox not going nowhere. Okay, damn, we got a linebacker named Bradham who turned it up this year after Hicks went down. He's a free agent. Oh, Mikael Kendricks, who they was trying to let go. He's making about $7 to $8 million. Nick Foles ain't making no money. He's not making no clear-cut dollars like that. He might make $5, $6 million. Ain't gonna do much. So not only that, Josh, you got to save $10 million for the NFL draft. And the Eagles got 4 draft picks, a first round, 2 fourths, and a 7th. So with that being said, if you're $10 million below the cap and you got to get at least over the cap by February, sometime this month, and you got to try to re-sign your own, damn, I don't think they're gonna come. They're gonna come in next season with a lot of better plays than what they have this year.
Yeah.
So
and,
are the Eagles in trouble? Yes. Overall, they're in trouble. Big trouble. Big time trouble.
Hey, Tim, sorry to cut you off, but I just want to shout out to someone on the wall and the YouTube wall
Yeah, I was gonna read off that Mike Mill. Yeah, I was gonna get into that.
Go ahead, read that off. Yeah, you read my
mind.
Yeah,
because Tim, he was just saying he thinks the Falcons regress because Quinn is more defensive minded and Kyle carried the loan with the offense, with Doug Peterson being more offensive minded, and their offense will be fine. Nothing will really change, and they still got Jim Shorts running the defense, and they played it smart. And everybody's under contract. They're deep, so they're built to be good next year as well. I kind of agree with that, Mike. In the sense of they are kind of built good with the contracts and everything. Only Patrick Robinson, I think, is really coming off of that corner position with the Eagles. And I know they had a good draft with a couple corners like Russell Douglas and Sidney Jones, who didn't even play. So that'll be a nice refreshing. It's almost like he's getting drafted again like this year, for the Eagles. So I do like that if I was an Eagles fan. That's refreshing to have come in. The thing I'm going to disagree with, though, is not because of Dan Quinn. I really think it's because of Steve Sarkisian. I think Sarkisian really just wasn't on the same offensive genius kind of level that Kyle Shanahan is. We saw what Kyle Shanahan could do. Once he actually got his quarterback in place that he actually wanted, he won out 5 games, and they weren't sloppy games. They were against the Rams. They had the Jaguars thrown in there. I think it was the Titans and Dolphins. I mean, AFC East, you can argue that they're but Jaguars and Rams around that time of the year, they were no slouch. That was getting into almost the end of the season, gearing up for the playoffs. So that'll be interesting with them. It's going to be really interesting with the 49ers if they can draft right. Getting back a little bit to the Rueben Foster thing, they'll be a scary team. But with the Eagles, I think it's more than just who you plug in and play. It's really Kyle Shanahan. I think it's just on another level that Steve Sarkisian is and ever will be.
First of all, going back with the 49ers, Josh, remember 49ers was once a dynasty team. They you got the Patriots now. Okay, you had the Cowboys, you had the 49ers, you had the Packers. Those are the big names. And with the leadership they have in the front office, the 49ers are on their way. Jimmy Garoppolo, and you know what? For everybody else out there who had the nerve to answer that SwimW poll of picking Nick Foles over Jimmy Garoppolo, disgusting. You guys gonna really get hurt when you see Jimmy Garoppolo perform. And not for nothing, the 49ers is my surprise playoff team because I already know they're gonna get the draft is gonna be very good, and I believe that a lot of free agent players are gonna want to play for the 49ers because of what they're gonna have in store with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Josh, you said it best, Kyle Shanahan, he's on another level. He's on another level. And Seattle Seahawks, they're regressing. Why? Cat. Players are getting older. The Rams are young, but I don't trust McVay. I don't like the McVay and the offense and then wait for them doing the defense. And still in all, they're gonna lose players like Tremaine Johnson in the corner. They don't want to pay him. Aaron Donald's not paid yet. What they're gonna do with him? Okay, Sammy Watkins not paid. My God, you can't sign everybody. It's not Madden football. Who's the next team? The Arizona Cardinals? Josh, I know you got an NFL letter to try for quarterback. I know you did. And I know you turned it down. So they haven't had a quarterback yet, Josh. So the 49ers are my favorites to win that division. I know they're going to do some good things over there during the offseason. But going back with the Philadelphia Eagles, I am sorry. And I'm not hating because I have a Cowboys background or jersey. I'm just keeping it real. The Eagles had a great year. The other NFC East teams didn't. We all seen why, injuries, issues, arrests, domestic violence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not an excuse, but it's reality. And if you are over the cap and you got to sacrifice good players, well, you would turn to the NFL draft, but that's not going to do you any good, in my opinion. And then on top of that, we may have a quarterback controversy coming up. Wait, is Carson Wentz going to be 100% healthy? MCL, ACL, I'm not a doctor, but ACL and MCL, that may slow down your mobility a little bit.
I think he'll be all right in that regard. What did worry me was I heard just rumbling reports so that there might be more damage. I don't know how true it was or if it was valid. That would just scare me a little bit if there was like a setback. That would be my only concern with Carson. If it's healing fine, though, He's young as hell. He'll be fine. I'm not worried about that.
You know what? I'm gonna say it right now. I'm not scared of Nick Foles. Listen, Nick Foles played 2 great games.
Listen,
2 great.
You need a serviceable backup in Dallas. What about bringing Nick Foles to Dallas?
Nah. We don't want him. We don't want him here. We don't want him here. Hey, there's a guy out there. I'm looking at in Sam Bradford who I'll back up in Dallas.
Not Case Keenum?
I like Sam Bradford. I really do.
What about Teddy Bridge?
You know, John said that. I was actually thinking Teddy Bridgewater with the Giants.
Oh.
I was actually thinking about that. I was like, you guys got to in Shermer. The Giants pull on Teddy Bridgewater. That's not a bad idea. Let me tell you something. 24 years old. Then that number 2 draft pick take off of Saquon.
You know what? I'll take it over Geno.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? And you know what? Guess what? Teddy Bridgewater don't owe nobody no money either. He don't owe nobody no $60. A lot will be nice and sweet. So they might get punched in the mouth. This is easily. That's beautiful right there. Teddy Bridgewater to the jump, I do see happening.
And he can do the stanky leg, Teddy. Ooh,
there you go. There you go. Listen, I think Teddy Bridgewater to the Giants will be something on the low and cheap. He can't command that much money with the injury, and I believe he knows that he's the next ever. Let me say something. That's better than drafting any quarterback in this year's draft. And you got to see what you got where you already know what Teddy Bridge can offer you. His injury was...
Well, listen, it's going to come down to not what Pat Shurmur wants, but possibly what Dave Gettleman wants, because Dave Gettleman is there for more of the long run than Shurmur is, and Mike Shula and whoever else is being brought in right now. Possibly, depending on the job they do, they could be going in a year or two. You know, this could be just a little bridge gap. So I don't know if we're going to go in that position. And I don't know if Gettleman is really going to give Shurmur that authority to say, you know, go out and if you're eyeing a QB in this year's draft, what are you thinking about, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's the plan. I don't know if Gettleman is going to come and look at Webb, see him, and try to just say, you know, we're going to stick with Webb as the number 2 guy and just, you know, build through the draft and not worry about drafting a QB this year. That could be too. I'm watching more tape. You know, Josh Allen is a little growing on me. You know, I don't like that Eagles get up he was rocking though. That you know, not sure about that, but. You know, on tape, he's looking good. I was looking at some college tape that somebody come up. I think his name was Samuel Gold on YouTube. It's actually a very good little analysis tape. But it's gonna be interesting, Tim. Come freaking draft time, man. My head's going in all directions. Doing like this way. Are you getting the QB this year? Are you going next year though? Or is it Pat Shurmur? Is he gonna be deciding who the QB is? Or man, I'm not sure where it's going.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be that time of year. But you know, listen, Eagles fans, if you're watching, I'm sorry. They're not repeating. They're in trouble. Let's move on to the head coach we were just talking about, Frank Reich. Now he's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Yep. We all know what Josh McDaniels did. Shame on him from having your first name too, Josh. I want to apologize for that. You don't deserve your first name. The stuff that he shook hands with the man, and then after that, you're gonna call and say, "I don't want the job no more." My God, you know, I couldn't imagine what the coach meant. But you know what? I think they probably got a better coach. And Frank Reich, you know, I just said earlier was an up and coming star coach that people wanted to interview, and Doug Peterson was blocking him. So now he's with the coach now. In your opinion, Josh, do you think he can make them into a playoff team?
Tim, I honestly don't think it really matters who the hell comes in this year for the Colts. I don't even think it matters if Bill Belichick came on over with his whole damn regime on the Trojan horse. I don't think this Colts team is really able to be turned around in 1 year. They have so many holes. It's everywhere too. You can argue the receiver position is probably their strongest area, and even that only has T.Y. Hilton, because I think Moncrief is a free agent, and to be honest, I can't remember who their third is now that Philip Dorsett left the Colts. So I would have to actually Google that real quick to see who the hell that was. Because, Dorsett left. I know they had like a guy, Bug Howard and JoJo Nats, and they were younger people on that team. But,
God.
Tim, it's not looking good for the Colts. Vontae Davis, he was one of their best corners, got released because the medical issues, and looks like he's trying to get reinstated now this year. Probably won't be with the Colts. It'll probably be with another team. It was Kamar Aiken. That was the guy I was trying to think of. Sorry, Kamar. All respect to you. You're actually a pretty serviceable receiver, and I like you. So, but you could argue that's their best position on the Colts. Running back is old as hell, and behind him there's Marlon Mack. He's a young dude. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be the good that we see from the young rooks that came out of his class, like the Hunt. Why am I drawing a blank on the other rookie? Kareem Hunt, and who's the other? Alvin Kamara. Thank you. Couldn't freaking remember.
Yes.
Having brain farts over here. Yeah, amazing back. So I don't think he's going to be on that level. You're going to need to look at that. Possibly get somebody. Who knows if Andrew Luck comes back this year? I was hearing on ESPN radio on my drive into work. I think it was Monday. The doctor that predicted Andrew Luck would not play all season, all 2017, and his prediction came true. He was also saying he would not be surprised if Andrew Luck also missed all of this coming season. And I'm like, damn, if he was dead on about 2017, I'm taking his prediction of 2018 with a pretty serious, potential. I'm looking at the Colts possibly needing a QB this year. Do they keep Jacoby Brissett and give him a little type of extension, kind of in the average field, because they got to, keep someone? Do you bring in a new quarterback to bring up with the team as you kind of rebuild the process? D-line isn't good at all. You got Jonathan Hankins on there. Who else is around that guy? You don't have Dwight Freeney. You don't have Mathis anymore. Linebackers. Who the hell's over there? Tim, this is not a team that's going to be – it doesn't matter who comes in. This is a team that's going to need probably a year or two to build through free agency and the draft and get the coaching right and get the players right. And who knows if they even have a franchise quarterback anymore.
Josh, I kind of differ. I think they can be a playoff team. I'm just scared of the Jacksonville Jaguars and that defense. That's the only team that stands in the way. But as I look at Jacoby Brissett, I'm going with your man crush on Carson Wentz. Similar size, similar athleticism. So I'm saying, if we all saw what the Eagles did with Carson Wentz, I think Jacoby Brissett could do the same thing that Carson Wentz did. Now, I like the running game the Colts have, okay? I really do like, Frank Gore and Mack if Frank Gore returns to the Colts. But Marlon Mack is the up-and-coming receiver. You still got T.Y. Dante McCreeve, he's a free agent, but what has he really done with the Colts? He's up and down with the injuries. But now you still have your tight end, which I like. The offensive line is something that they have to really improve in. The defense, they went with the 3-4. They made a lot of moves last year. Jonathan Hankins from the Giants was one of the big free agent signs last year. Of course, putting, some more pieces on that defense. But I like what Frank Reich has to work with. It's the offensive line that really is really scary. But I really do think that he could, with Jacoby Brissett, has the same similar size that Carson Wentz have. Athleticism is very good. I think he could do the same thing. And what I like about it is that Jacoby Brissett also learned from the best in Tom Brady. The one thing they kept on bringing up was that every time Jacoby Brissett took a snap from under center, he basically did the same exact thing the way Tom did it. So basically, what you're going to learn from is the best quarterback in the NFL and, probably all time. And you're learning from the coach who basically helped his team win the Super Bowl and was a star up-and-coming coach in Frank Reich. So I really do like Frank Reich with the Colts, and I think they can be the second best team in the in their division. depending on what Jacksonville does at quarterback. That's the scariest part. Once they get a quarterback situation correctly, they are a – oh, my God.
And Frank seems to be good with the quarterback. So if it's a go, and I don't know if he's a Jacoby Brissett fan. I don't know if he's all on board with that type of guy. So if Jermaine Irsay gives him the go and says, who are you eyeing, free agency or draft wise, then that could be interesting as well. But that would be huge if they went for somebody in the draft. Wow, Andrew Luck. How the hell would that guy feel? Yeah, how the hell would Andrew Luck be feeling, man?
Yeah, another thing too that I forgot to say, Eberflus came from the Cowboys. He basically was a hot candidate to go with Josh McDaniels, but McDaniels flaked on him. He had already signed his contract, and he coaches offense and defense. So, I take it as, okay, Frank Reich, is he a rental, for this year only, or are the coach really gonna stay with him and let him work this out? And it's a last minute thing. But I always say, when the unexpected happens in the NFL, and we talk bad about it, for some reason, it's the best thing that ever happened to them. And this is why I'm thinking the Colts are really gonna turn it around and do something.
Yeah, right, I mean, like I said, it speaks volumes when Carson Wentz had his success. I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to Frank Reich, and especially DeFilippo, working with him. I'm sure that's where a lot of his production and his continuity and fluidity came from. And he was so consistent throughout the whole season up until his injury. So, and then Nick Foles steps in, and they do an amazing job with Nick Foles. They're single-handedly going to give Nick Foles a payday. So I think they're in good hands with Frank Reich, but I'm sorry, Frank, that's a tough job. You're taking one of the toughest jobs in the NFL right now, probably right next to the Browns.
Whew. Josh, next one. This is gonna be a little painful one.
No, I feel you, dude. Can't troll you on this one. This one hurts.
I know those bastards will watch and say something to me. I know. Don't call me. Don't call here. Do not call. We got nothing nice to say about Dez Bryant. Do not make that phone call. Don't do it.
He may not have dropped it, but it seems like the Dallas dropped him.
Got him.
You know what? I don't like that, Sean. Don't start that, because everybody gonna start using that as a meme. We dropped it. That's not nice. Nothing happened yet. Nothing happened yet. It's still a process. We're still a process. But, Josh, what happened, in your opinion, if the Dallas Cowboys release Dez Bryant, how can they replace him? Like, what's your plan?
You know what I would like to see? Dez Bryant. Well, you know what? How about this? Would you be happy if he stayed kind of like local, or would that not matter to you? It doesn't F him staying in Dallas or the Texas area. Cause
I really would like him as a Jet.
What I'm thinking, oh my God, could you imagine that defense? Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Dez Bryant, Fredericks at the tight end position, Lamar Miller, and possibly draft maybe another tandem back coming up, maybe like a Bradley Chubb. Or I'm sorry, like a Nick Chubb. I don't know, because they got DeAndre. DeAndre is nice. Top 5, arguably, when he's on. But they kind of missed that big body possession receiver like an Andre Johnson, too. And that would be, I think Dez would have kind of a revival of spirit, body, just overall motivation. And I think playing alongside DeAndre Hopkins would just propel him to have not an amazing season, but I think he could be a receiver to get back to the 8-9 touchdown, 700 to 800 yard receiving range, and that's damn good for how late he's getting into his career. It's not easy to stay at the top of your game at a receiver position at almost 30. He's getting up there. Is he 29, 30?
He's 29 years old.
Okay, yeah, so
29 years old.
But that would be interesting. I could see the Texans working out for Dez or pairing up with Jimmy G.
With the 40, see, this is why I get upset at, man. And I won't be cursing Sean and Trisha. I'm cool. But see, this pisses me off.
Go ahead. I'm a big boy.
In 2016, he missed about 4 to 6 games. He came back, had a monster the rest of the second half into the playoff with Dak Prescott. Where the hell did that go? Now, a new offense. See, I like Jason Garrett. I really do. I just don't like the play calls. Was it your playbook, Garrett, or are we calling God, what's his name? Jesus. Oh, I'm getting so heated. What's his name? Right. Offensive coordinator. I don't want to say his name, but are we calling his plays? And that's the thing that hurts me because, Linehan, excuse me. When Linehan has coached a lot of good receivers, not the fastest, not the big, not the slowest, but he has put a lot of game plan to it. So I want to see. If he wasn't calling his plays, what's his Dak-friendly freaking offense? How about put the player where he's best at? Surround him. Listen, you got a guy in Butler who had the nerve to go on shows and be famous saying, if he's not the starter when he's not going back to Dallas. Who are you? Dude, you haven't the most. His biggest number was 539 yards, and that was in college in USC. My God, when Dez Bryant was out 6 games, that was your time to shine, Butler. That was your time to say, "Hey, I'm the number 2 guy. Don't re-sign Terrence Williams." But you didn't show up. They re-signed Terrence Williams. So making demands, I don't know how he's able to do that. Now, Jason Witten. Listen, that's a stud. He's a Hall of Fame. Is he the same Witten? No, he's not. Is he serviceable? Yes. Can he be a good coach on the field for a tight end taking his spot? Yes. But Zeke not there. So where was the surroundings to help Dez Bryant out? If Dez Bryant gets double covered, that means the other guys are single cover. How are you not open? But everybody wants to get on Dez Bryant. Okay, Dak Prescott's not Tony Romo.
Are you going to admit that Dak Prescott's kind of inaccurate?
But I'm going to admit, listen, he's still a young kid. He's only second year. He has to get better. So it's not all Dez's fault. Part of it, Bryant don't get recognized as the big name wide receiver in the NFL is because the inconsistency of the quarterback position with Romo being injured. So you had Matt Castle in there. You had other quarterbacks in forgot his name, and he's the new quarterback coach. Okay, then you got now Dak Prescott. So he hasn't had quarterbacks who play every game and all day. Have we seen Antonio Brown, who is the best wide receiver in the NFL, or number 2 is Odell Beckham Jr.? Have we seen what happens when Big Ben went down? His numbers dropped. Michael Vick could not throw the ball to him. Okay, how about, do you think that if Eli Manning retires, that Odell will have the same numbers with a rookie quarterback? No, he won't. Okay, now, it really did, but you know what? Put it around him and put the receiver, Hopkins, for the plays off for him. And Dallas, we didn't do that with Dez. But the game plan is throw everything short, and hopefully you make a big play out of it. My God, we let our quarterback get sacked 7 times by a defensive end who should not be in the record books. So with that being said, it's not all Dez Bryant's fault. It's the inaccuracy of the quarterback. He's still young, and it's part of the coaching staff's fault. Now, next question, Josh, should he take a pay cut? My answer is yes. Why? Well, here's the thing. And picking a pay cut does not mean your production is slipping. Basically, is in a way of you helping the team out. You got your money up front. That's the best part of the contract, the upfront money. Got $45 million up front. Okay. You're making 16 this year. 16. Now, am I going to say if Dez Bryant had a Big Ben or Eli Manning, will his numbers be like Antonio Brown or Odell? No. You know why? Totally different wide receivers. Dez Bryant will be consistently have 1,000 yards, 7, 8 touchdowns, the regular. Not those type of numbers, because he's not a speed guy. So, you know, I do agree that he needs to take a pay cut. He's getting older up in age. His game has regressed. Not all of it his fault, but he's got older. You got your money up front. You're still gonna make probably $8 to $10 million a year. My God, I don't see the problem with that. Now, if to cut him, in my opinion, I don't see them, Josh. I don't see them going after a big-time free agency wide receiver like Jarvis Landry, or I don't see them giving a big contract to get another contract. It's going to be that. And in the draft, they probably get a wide receiver. I hope maybe Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, or Christian Kirk, you know, speed guys. If you're going to make it around that friendly offense, you understand? And that's it. Do I want Dez Bryant to leave? No, I don't. I want him to retire as a Cowboy. But I don't think they're afraid to pull that trigger, Josh. DeMarcus Ware was cut, okay, and they did it without having a backup for him. They really did.
Yeah, Mike Mill on the wall is still. He was saying about Dak. He said he said in an interview during Super Bowl week that he looks up to Alex Smith, and that explains a lot. And on his sentiments about Dez Bryant, he says, no, you absolutely do not take a pay cut. You signed a contract, you go get your money. I got to kind of agree with that, man. You only got a limited amount of time in this league. You got to try to soak as many M's as you can out of it. Mike Mill, he's on the wall right now. He's on the YouTube live wall.
I'm
watching the comment. So, and Mike, yeah, I do remember the slant pass he scored in on New York and took it to the house. Yes, I do. Dez does still have some talent in him, absolutely. And like I was agreeing with Tim, I was trying to say that I absolutely do agree that he was hampered down by, Dak the rookie season. Even though they had a great record, Dak, still wasn't on the same page with Dez, and that's why in the offseason you saw a lot of articles and a lot of interviews talking about them spending a lot of time together, getting on the same page, getting the chemistry up. And we still didn't see, a great season out of Dez. Only 6 touchdowns with 69 receptions, 838 yards. That's what I'm saying. He can still be that guy that goes up and gets the ball, in single or even double coverage, and he can be that guy that catches a slant pass and can take it in. He has that power to be able to man another, 10, 20, even 30 yards on a run contested. So this is a guy that I see if he gets to a position where, I'm a Deshaun Watson fan with what he was showing in his rookie year, slinging the ball. He had DeAndre Hopkins, gave him his best year since 2 years ago. Touchdown wise, it's his best season ever. So, if I could see Dez go to an environment like the Houston Texans, I could definitely see him get a little resurgence in his career, get back to that, 9, I would say even possibly 10 touchdown count for the year. Him and DeAndre would make a great tandem, in my opinion. So that's something that's going to be interesting. I think like Mike said, you don't take a pay cut, man. It's going to be hard. You only take a pay cut if you're right probably on the brink of your career, age wise, or you don't have any leverage around the league to be able to get anything else. So if you think you're in a win now position, or you're in an environment that you absolutely just love and think you still have a chance, then you say, okay, maybe I'll take like a $1 pay cut, $2 pay cut. I mean, Tom Brady's been doing it for quite a few years, but he's got endorsements at the woo-woo, and it's New England, and I think he's smart enough to know he's playing for the best coach ever. So, there's circumstances and there's certain little tidbits that maybe you could take a pay cut, but now, not Dez. You can't.
Tom, he's set for life, man. He doesn't have to worry about nothing.
Hey, Mike Fisher, one of the writers I follow on Twitter, he basically put an article out in ways how to do Dez Bryant's contract, where you basically turn the salary into you get all your money up front, but you turn the base salary. I guess I don't know. I don't know the language, but basically you're flipping the money. Dez still get his money, but the salary decreases, so it helps the Cowboys a lot. I mean, listen, they've been pretty good with things like that. The only reason why I say the pay, a lot of teams take pay cuts. It's not where you're regressing. The big part about the contract is the upfront guarantees. That's the most important about the contract.
Guaranteed money.
So, yeah, when you get that guarantee, like he got $45 million guaranteed. You're not even care about, okay, $16 million now, $60 million a year. I mean, listen. Again, it's not all his fault. It's Dak's fault. But there are times where, you're not the same. Now, is it because you're mad? Like, what I don't like is how he gets judged on the sidelines, as if, okay, he's an angry guy or he's being he's selfish. No, listen, he loves the game. He loves the game. He's passionate. He wants to win. There's been plenty of times where he says, I can have one catch as long as we win the game. That's what it matters. But when you lose, okay, then the problem begins. Okay, what happened? I mean, that's normal. Okay, if you are the type to criticize players about how they act on the sidelines, that means you never played a damn sport in your life. That means you was either hula hooping or you was playing Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo.
I can
Seriously.
take it further than that, Tim.
Huh?
I could take it further than that. It's what you said and more.
Now, listen, I mean, my God, there's a sport. There's not, and you say you don't get passionate. Now, when they say, well, how come I don't see that play? Because the camera don't want to show you that player. They don't want to show that guy. Now, let's go forward. Dez Bryant never got ejected out of the game like AJ Green for fighting. Now, I joke about Odell Beckham Jr. on the wall. Yeah, listen, he's the top number one receiver in my book. I would take Odell Beckham Jr. number one over Antonio Brown. Hopkins now is climbing that ladder like, I made this swap. Now, like Hopkins, the thing is, it's passion. Okay? If you show no emotion of not wanting to win, I don't want you on my team. If you're the type of guy, well, guy, we good, we had a law, but don't worry. Next, I don't want that guy. I want the guy that if the coach don't see the attitude and I see the attitude, and you check him, that's the guy I want on my team. I remember one of the best games I ever saw by Bill Parcells coaching the New York Jets, and it was when Brian Cox. Now, Brian Cox was a guy on the Chicago Bears that everybody, the whole NFL, was, he's a bad guy, X, Y, and Z. Bill Parcells signed him to the New York Jets. And I recall a rookie linebacker on third down missed a tackle, which resulted on a first down. It was a 31 or 32. Bill Parcells was standing on the sideline next to Brian Cox. Brian Cox went off the sideline and went, come here. Pulled the player by the head, by the helmet. Don't you ever bleeping miss a tackle again. Parcells looked at him like this. They didn't say a word. That's what I love. You know why? Because a coach can lead you to drink that water, but he can't make you. But you know what? When you have a coach on the field, a general, a leader, you're gonna respond. You on the sideline, yo, run that route. Yeah, well, whatever. But when a teammate tells you, a leader, yo, run that route, I got you, no doubt. It's a different. You need that. You need. Dez Bryant, in my opinion, many occasions was giving that leadership into what the media wanted to show. In my opinion, so everybody needs a dog. Everybody wants a dog on their team. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, the Giants. If I ask you who the Giants have on that team, you got Odell Beckham Jr. Okay, you guys have JPP, Olivia Vernon. There's people speak when they coach. They got, matter of fact, Casillas, another vocal guy. Your safety. Bama, very vocal into the media as well.
Yeah, Damon Harrison, absolutely.
Yes,
Jack Rabbit. Yeah, they're all vocal on that D.
You cannot tell me on the sideline they're like this. Hey, Patty Cake. He's not doing that. They say, yo, effing play F1. I've been to the Giants training camp. And let me tell you something. Yes, I joked about Odell was dancing on the field. But let me tell you this. There's a lot of cussing up in that mug.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it.
Every other word.
And there's no Camp Cupcake. I've been to the Cowboys training camp, and they had a sign that says, if you cannot take cursing, don't bring your kids. Wow. Somebody complained. Now, Jason Garrett and the media, he's like this. How you going, guys? Smiling. Because the media is powerful. You don't want to write anything negative. But when he got on the field, he was cussing up a storm. Didn't I tell you effing go X, Y, and Z? Especially Marinelli. My God. There was word. I never heard that curse word before. I never heard that word. And there was things, Jason Garrett, I mean, they go off. I mean, when you got fans, but we don't see, you're not supposed to see it. That's supposed to. You're supposed to get it, catch it occasionally. Catch it occasionally. That's about it. But listen, everybody wants a rah-rah guy. Let's not forget Jason Garrett's former teammates who coaches the team on the low. Those guys were talking jump. Did we not hear what Charles Haley said? Charles Haley said Jerry Jones didn't build the stadium for a bunch of losers. How do I feel about that? I'm clapping my hands, Josh. You know why? Because guess what? We're supposed to be America's team. We are America's team still.
Guess who just joined in with the party? Brian.
Who?
Brian, you know, our combine.
I don't see him.
What's going on, Brian?
How you doing?
Can you hear him?
Hello?
Tim.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you a little bit. What's up, Brian?
What's good? How you doing?
What's going on?
The topic is about Dez Bryant, all right? Whether the Cowboys should cut him or release him.
It's Brian.
What they should do to replace him?
Well, no, basically, if the Dallas Cowboys release Dez Bryant, what's the plan to replace him?
The Cowboys should the Dallas Cowboys release Dez Bryant and replace him.
Right, like basically, how would you replace Dez Bryant through, of course, free agency and
one of the pre-movie questions was, is Dez Bryant still an elite wide receiver? And I said, I don't think he's an elite wide. I don't think he's an elite number one anymore. I think he had his time in moments where he was an elite number one, but I don't think he's an elite number one. And he's just not that game-breaking receiver you need right now in that offense. That offense it's just not as game-breaking as you want it to be. I know they have Zeke Elliott, but on the outside, they don't really have somebody who can kind of blow the top open. And you want Dez Bryant to be that guy, but he doesn't really have that top-end speed anymore. You know, whether it's injuries or whether it's age or whatever it may be. So, he's not going to take a pay cut. So, do you release him and save some cap room and draft young? I mean, I think at this point right now, it's almost a perfect time because he's not the same guy he was when Tony Romo was there. He has not made that connection for whatever it may be. It could be the age of Dak Prescott. It could be the off-the-field relationship or on the field. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't have that connection with Dak Prescott. And it may just be that right time to replace him with a younger, maybe a more skilled and more explosive receiver in the draft. Right now, it's not the deepest. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
I was going to say, it's not the deepest wide receiver draft ever. It's just not. I mean, Calvin Ridley is probably the cream of the crop right now. And, you have Cortland Sutton of MSU, who's probably, a Dez Bryant type of receiver. But he doesn't really blow the top off. So I think the Dallas Cowboys, what they've been missing, I believe, my opinion, for the last, maybe 3 or 4 years since Dez Bryant's come in, because Dez Bryant used to be this guy. They're missing that explosive outside weapon. And Dez Bryant isn't that guy anymore. And
well, I want to add this, Brian. The explosive outside weapon was supposed to be Terrence Williams.
Yeah, but Terrence Williams it's just he's too inconsistent. That's his problem. He's way too inconsistent. You want a guy. I mean, look, you want a guy. You want a guy like an Odell Beckham, a guy like Antonio Brown, guys who can take the top off of defenses. You know, guys like outside who can create things on their own. Right? Terrence Williams isn't that guy. He's just not. I mean, he's fast. He's hands are questionable, but he does have some speed. But he's not that number one guy. And I'm saying the Cowboys want to find that number one guy to help them blow the top off of the. They haven't had that in a long time. They're not the most explosive offense, you know.
Well, that was the problem. But Brian, that's the problem I was trying to say. The thing that gets to me is that, first of all, that when you're one wide receiver, okay, even Randy Moss had Chris Carter and Jake Reed. Okay, even so you was at when you have your number one guy. Remember when Dez Bryant was on Dallas, he was not the number one for a long time. It was Jason Witten. Witten was still and doing his all pro stuff. He's not the same guy no more. So then Romo was up and down with injuries, up and down with injuries. So Dez Bryant for the most of his career didn't have Romo. He had Romo for one good season. Romo's been hurt. That hurts your wide receiver. Now, you're a Steelers fan, right? You saw when Big Ben went down, Antonio Brown's numbers went down.
Yeah.
Wide receivers cannot throw the ball to themselves. So, but I will say this, though. I blame Dez Bryant. Has he regressed a little bit? Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. I really do agree with you. He has regressed. But the production from this season, a lot of it was Dak Prescott's fault. Okay? A lot of it was the coaching staff. Well, we allowed Dak to get sacked 7 times in one game by one player who should not be in the record books. It tells you how much of the coaching staff was not heavily involved in basically making Dez better, put him in a better situation. Okay, he's being double covered in the outside, put him in the middle. They didn't create enough plays at all. Their playbook from Gavin's playbook was. Those short. Hopefully, you break it wide open and fly. He was double covers the whole game. So where's the other wide receivers? Where they at? Where was T. Will? Where was Butler, who had enough to go on ESPN and talk? Where were they at? If you become that guy, it makes it easy for Dez to do what he can do.
All right, let's have Brian the last say. So
I would say I do agree with Tim. I do agree with your assessment of how they did use Dez Bryant this year. Scott Linehan is the offensive coordinator, I believe. They didn't prepare themselves with life after Zeke. They didn't really do that well, and for whatever reason, Dez Bryant wasn't a part of that equation. So I don't know if that's I know that something's going on between the coaching staff and player. I don't know, but I'm just going off of Dez Bryant, the player. I'm not really talking about the schemes that they should have put Dez Bryant in. I'm talking about the player. I'm saying
I want to ask you, Brian, if he gets released, where's Dez Bryant going to? I like Josh's idea with the Houston Texans. That's scary.
I think he's going to go to a team that's going to need that kind of. Like I said, he's an elite number 2 right now. I don't think he's number 1 right now. So ideally, he's going to go to a team who's going to need an elite number 2. Now, the first team that I guess that came into my mind, the first thing that came into my mind who kind of need that guy is the New England Patriots. They don't really they need an outside threat. I know I just said that Dez Bryant isn't really that explosive outside threat, but the Patriots really haven't really had a guy like Dez Bryant of that type of caliber since Randy Moss. So that's the first team that I don't know if it's going to happen. That's the first team that came to my mind right now. A team that kind of needs that, and then also the Green Bay Packers. Ironically, it was where Dez Bryant dropped the ball, quote unquote. Jordy Nelson is kind of down. Devontae Adams is a free agent where we don't know what's going to happen to him. So I think Aaron Rodgers could maybe even, take a guy like Dez Bryant. Because Aaron Rodgers needs another. Because Jordy Nelson is the same guy. So they could use another receiving threat out there in Green Bay. So there's a lot of places that would take Dez Bryant. I'm not going to lie to myself and say he's going to rot, on the free agent wire. If he's ever on the free agent wire, if he's ever on the market, he's going to get picked up and he's going to get a lot of calls. I'm just saying, as for the Cowboys, I don't know whether Dez Bryant is just, I don't know if the relationship is strained or if it's just maybe he's overstayed his welcome there. He needs a new change of scenery. I just think Dallas Cowboys right now, they need that explosive threat to go along with Dak and Elliott. I just think Dez Bryant, for whatever reason, they're not using him in those schemes. So that's just my opinion on it. I don't think he'll get cut. I think he's too valuable, but I can see him getting released. I can see the Dallas Cowboys separating, especially if he's not willing to take a pay cut.
Well, my plan would be if you got Sammy Watkins out there, he has ties to a wide receiver coach who coached him up, and he loves him. He expressed that he loves him. So Sammy Watkins, 24 years old. He won't be that expensive. Hopefully, we get him a deal like the way the Eagles got Alshon Jeffrey. I like him. Dante McCree's another guy who coached with the same wide receiver coach with the Colts. I forgot his name, but he coached the Bills and the Colts as a wide receiver coach. So those are the two guys playing. Those are two guys that hasn't had great careers, but if you bring them as a package to replace Dez with what we already have with T. Will and Beasley and Switzer, and maybe draft him another rookie receiver, I think that's a good replacement for Dez Bryant. If Dez Bryant gets released, I just do not want him anywhere in the NFC East. I don't want him in a Redskins uniform. Okay, I definitely don't want him in a Giant uniform or Eagles uniform. If that happens, I would not be a happy man. I will be on fury, cussing every freaking day that Dez Bryant did that. I remember Deion Sanders when he joined the Redskins. I was mad. I was very mad. I was like, why you got to go to the Redskins? But a guy like Dez Bryant, who's one of my favorites all time, DeMarcus.
We could use a Brandon Marshall replacement, Tim. That wouldn't be too bad. For the right price.
Stop that.
For the right price.
For the right price. Stop that, John.
Woo! Let's go.
Here's the thing. Brian, you on the line, Brian?
Yeah, I'm here.
See right now. Yes. You, Corey, Brian and Corey, Josh, Cooper, Victor, making a living hell on Dez Bryant in a Giant uniform or Eagles uniform, especially Fogman too. That shit would drive me crazy. Literally.
I don't think he.
Literally, I would be so disappointed. I mean, I would need, in order for me to feel good, I would need a wide receiver to come out of nowhere and have a season like Anquan Bolden or Randy Moss. To be like, oh, all right, yeah, whatever. Dez Bryant in the NFC East? Oh, my God.
I don't. Well,
I got to right now. I'm going to burn it.
Okay, let's just Brian say
any of those schools or any of those teams because they don't have quarterbacks. You know, I think the Eagles have a quarterback in Carson Wentz. He's not playing right now. You know, you don't really know what they're getting in Alex Smith, and you know, the New York Giants have a quarterback dilemma. They don't know if Eli Manning's going to be. Dez Bryant's going to go to a team with a quarterback. That's the reason why I mentioned the Green Bay Packers and the New England Patriots because those guys can throw. He's going to go to a team that has a quarterback. He's a guy who needs a quarterback to get him the football, and those guys will get him the football. So I don't think you have to worry about Dez Bryant going to the NFC East because they don't really have the best crop of quarterbacks right now in that division, in my opinion. So you don't know about that.
How the hell did Beckham Jr. get those receiving yards?
Odell Beckham is an elite number one. He's probably a top player. That's why.
Who doing the more?
Yeah, because he already made that. He already made that point.
Odell Beckham.
He made that point.
You know, that's how Odell Beckham has those receiving yards. Odell Beckham is a hell of a receiver. It can create separation. It can take 3-yard slants, 69 yards, 70 yards to the house.
Eli wasn't throwing 2-yard passes. Josh, get him, Josh. How? Eli's elite.
So you're saying that he can fit as a number two. He can fit as a number two under.
No, I agree. I agree with Brian that listen, Dez will be a great number two to Odell Beckham Jr. But don't say Eli won't throw him the ball. Eli's not a good Eli's a good quarterback. Eli's still a good quarterback. I mean, listen, shit, if you get Dez Bryant, Odell Beckham Jr. over there on the same team, that's not gonna see. Oh my God, let me jinx it. Let me get the ball
he's not. We know he's not. He believes it. I don't know if that would work. Dez and Odell Beckham on the same team. Those personalities who want the ball in their hands at every single moment, who call for. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr. cries for the ball, literally cries for the football. Can you imagine him sharing the ball or
Hey, Antonio Brown cried. Antonio Brown cried too.
We gotta wrap. Tim. We gotta wrap this up. But I do agree with Brian. But you know what? Brian has a point though. But you know what? He does cry for the ball. But you know, if he's gonna push to number 2, he have to be real with his.
Who don't cry for the ball?
So hey, I'm just saying, if he was crying, I'm not saying that he definitely was, but if he was crying for the ball, Brian, regardless if he's on the Packers or the Giants, he's not going to get that much touches anyways. Tim, we got to wrap this up, though. We can talk about this forever.
But I'm just saying, if he go to Green Bay, they spread the ball out too much. He got to.
But Tim, that's just the situation he's in. He's not a number 1.
Who says that? How are you going to say he's not number 1 yet?
You know what? Sorry. It was an opinion of Brian, and I thought you kind of agreed to, Tim.
Oh, no. I never agreed to that crap.
He's too old to be number 1 now. Sorry. The future is now, old man.
Okay, see, now that's Josh and Brian. Look, I have no skin in.
But you repeat that, Sean. I saw you, Sean. You want Odell on your team. You know you do.
Take him.
You know you want Russell Wilson. You know you want Russell Odell Beckham. You know that.
I would take him last year. I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't take. I would be stupid not to take Dez Bryant on my team.
Yeah, but he's not.
You know what? I want Martavis Bryant. I want the Bryant and Brian show. That's what I want. I want the Bryant and Brian on down. I want Martavis Bryant on the other side. That's what I want.
Well, anyways, we got to wrap this up, guys.
All right, guys. It's always fun. Hey, guys, make sure you tune in to me and 5Max show tomorrow, NFL Combine 360, tomorrow at 8 o'clock on Facebook Live, guys. That's take it easy.
All right, easy, bro.
And behave, Brian. Behave.
I will, man.
Damn it. To my Dez non-league shit.
It's gonna be interesting, man. Free agency. It's like one of my favorite time of years in the NFL, man. Because I don't even bother with mocks until the free agency happens. Because everybody's mock is just gonna be a wash once they see some signings coming out of the blue. Oh, it's exciting. It's an exciting time of year.
Well, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I also thank again for Brian to chime in. He's also one of our regulars that have a show with 5 May. Was it Wednesdays? They talk about, the combines and drafts and things like that. If you want to get your draft information, just, we'll post that up on Facebook Live. But other than that, guys, thanks for joining in. We talk to you guys later. Easy. Pew, pew, pew. Oh,
later,
yeah,
folks.
Our Facebook group fan page is 2 Minute Warning Media. Well, actually, I should say 2MW Media. So if you can find that page, you can find the combine information and the draft information. We out. Easy.
Yep.